The Galactic Union survey ship moved through the cold and quiet space around the blue planet that many believed to be empty. For years, Earth had been listed in the Union records as a deserted world, one that once held life but no longer had anything of value. Most members of the Union never questioned this idea. They simply accepted it because no signals came from the world, no ships left its orbit, and no colonies claimed it. Earth, to them, was nothing more than a quiet rock with an old history. Officer Laura King sat at her console on the bridge of the Union ship as it approached the solar system. She was a calm and focused woman who took her job seriously. Her job today was simple: confirm once again that Earth was indeed empty and make sure no strange activity was happening in the system. She had done these types of missions before, but something felt different this time. She could not explain it, but she felt a slight tension as the ship crossed the outer edge of the system. The ship's captain, a tall and careful man named, stood beside her. He trusted Laura's skills more than anyone else on his team. "Any readings so far?" he asked. Laura looked at her screen and adjusted a few controls. "Nothing unusual yet," she said, "but the background energy around the moon seems a little higher than normal. It might just be reflected radiation, but I will keep watching it." The captain nodded and moved across the bridge to check other stations. The crew remained relaxed because they expected the mission to be simple. Earth had been silent for more than 100 years. The last known signal from the planet came long before the Union began exploring the outer territories. Every record said the same thing: no cities, no power grids, no ships, no life. But Laura could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. She zoomed in on the moon's surface and studied the faint energy trail again. It pulsed in a strange pattern, almost like a heartbeat. She leaned closer to the screen. "Interesting," she whispered. She ran a deeper scan, expecting to find nothing but static. Instead, her console flickered for half a second. It was so fast that she almost missed it, but she felt her chest tighten. "What was that?" she said quietly. "Everything all right?" asked her partner, a young technician named Cole. He sat at the next station and often relied on Laura's guidance. "I don't know yet," Laura replied. "I think I saw a hidden signal. It disappeared too fast to confirm. I want to run the scan again." Leaned back in his chair. "Earth cannot send signals. It has nothing left. Maybe it was a reflection from one of our own systems." Laura did not answer. She typed in another scan sequence and set it to sweep the entire lunar orbit. Her eyes watched the progress bar as it moved slowly across the screen. Halfway through the scan, the ship vibrated slightly. The crew barely noticed it, but Laura felt a cold shiver run up her spine. She looked over at. "Did you feel that?" she asked. "Probably just a small adjustment in the engine," he said. "The captain said we were switching to a slower path." Laura did not believe him, but she stayed quiet. The scan finished and her screen filled with data. At first it looked normal, then she saw it. A thin, sharp line of energy, artificial, intentional, hidden behind layers of distortion. She stared at it with wide eyes. "Captain," she said, her voice firm but calm, "I have something you should see." Captain walked back to her station and looked at the readings. His expression changed from relaxed to serious. "That is not natural," he said quietly. "What could make a signal like this so close to the moon?" "It feels like it's hiding," Laura said, "almost like someone doesn't want to be found." The captain gave a slow breath. "Run a full deep scan on the moon's orbit. I want to know exactly what is there." Laura nodded and began the process, but something caught her attention even before the scan could start. A new signal flashed across her screen. This time it did not vanish. It was strong, steady, and unmistakably artificial. A low alarm sounded through the bridge. "Unknown transmission detected," said, now alert and nervous. The captain snapped into command mode. "Where is it coming from? Earth, the moon, somewhere else?" Checked his console. His face went pale. "Sir, it's coming from behind the moon." The bridge fell silent. Laura's heart pounded. For the first time in her career, she felt truly unsure of what she was facing. Another signal appeared, then another, then dozens more. Multiple energy signatures activating, Laura said. They are all coming from the same region. Captain looked toward the large viewing window at the front of the bridge, though nothing could be seen with the naked eye. "Are we picking up any ships?" he asked. "Not exactly ships," Laura said, her voice thin, "but something is powering up, something big." The energy readings grew stronger and more organized. Whatever was hiding behind the moon was no longer trying to stay hidden. Laura's fingers trembled slightly as she adjusted the scanner. "Captain, it looks like a fleet." His eyes widened. "That cannot be. Earth has no fleet. Earth has nothing." But the data on their screen said otherwise. Massive power signatures, full-scale reactors, heat trails activating after long silence, and something else, a strange field surrounding the objects like a cloak breaking apart. "This cannot be happening," said. "It is happening," Laura said. "Something was hiding behind the moon, and now it is waking up." Captain took a deep breath and issued orders. "Hold position. Power shields but do not charge weapons. We do not want to provoke anything." The crew followed his commands. The bridge lights dimmed slightly as the defensive systems activated. Laura ran another long scan. This time the readings came back clear. Her voice shook as she spoke. "Captain, I can identify the signature now. These are human reactors." The bridge froze. "Human?" whispered. "That is impossible. Humans cannot build reactors like these. There are too many and too strong, and an Earth is deserted." "Maybe it was never deserted," Captain said softly. Before anyone could respond, a bright flash appeared behind the moon on Laura's screen. A massive shape emerged. A ship, a human ship. But unlike anything in the Union records. Its hull was dark and armored. Its engines glowed with deep blue fire. It moved with confident silence, like a predator stepping into open daylight. Then another ship appeared, and another, and another. Laura counted them with trembling breath. 27 ships and rising. Stepped back from his console. They were hidden this whole time, an entire fleet right behind the moon. The captain watched in awe. But why would humanity hide? Why would they stay silent for 100 years? No one had an answer. More ships appeared, forming a formation that looked like a wall of steel and fire. The fleet turned slowly toward the Union ship. Laura felt her heart racing as a new transmission began. A calm voice spoke in clear and simple language. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered protected space. This is the Earth Defense Fleet. State your purpose." Turned to the captain with fear in his eyes. "Sir, Earth is not empty." Laura whispered the words that the entire galaxy would soon learn. Earth was never deserted. It was only hiding. The Earth Defense Fleet did not rush toward the Union survey ship. Instead, the ships moved slowly and with great control, like giants waking from a long sleep. Their engines glowed with a deep blue light that pulsed gently, showing power but not aggression. The Union crew watched in silence because none of them had ever seen human ships like these. Officer Laura King sat frozen for a long moment, her eyes locked on the display. She wanted to speak, but her mind struggled to process what she was seeing. Every history record said the same thing. Humans never reached this level of technology. They were a species that had once been active but eventually disappeared from the galactic stage. Some believed they destroyed themselves. Some believed they simply died off. And some believed they never mattered. But now, as dozens of massive human ships emerged from behind the moon, Laura understood that all those assumptions were wrong. The humans had not disappeared, they had hidden. Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, watching the Union vessel on his main screen. He was a calm and steady leader, known for thinking before acting. His ship crew waited for his words. They trusted him completely. "Open a stable channel," he said. A young communication officer adjusted the controls and nodded. "Channel ready, sir." Brooks took a slow breath. "Send message, keep it simple, keep it calm." The message transmitted through space, reaching the Union ship in seconds. "Unidentified vessel. This space is under Earth Defense Fleet protection. State your purpose." Laura heard the message again as it repeated. The voice was strong, confident, and unmistakably human. She turned toward Captain, who stood silent and tense. "Sir," Laura said quietly, "we must respond." The captain nodded, though his face showed worry. "Prepare a reply." Cole, still pale from shock, adjusted the communication system. "Channel open, sir." Captain stepped forward and spoke slowly. "This is Captain of the Galactic Union survey ship. We were sent to confirm that Earth is uninhabited and holds no current activity. We did not intend to disturb any operations." His message ended. The bridge fell quiet, waiting for a response. The reply from the Earth Defense Fleet came quickly. "Your records are incorrect. Earth is inhabited. Your ship has entered restricted space." The Union crew felt a chill move through the room. Laura leaned forward, studying the human signatures again. "Captain, it looks like more of their ships are activating behind the moon. They are forming a wide defensive line. If they wanted to attack us, they would have done it already." "I know," Captain said softly, "which means they are sending a message." Swallowed hard. "A message to us, or the whole galaxy?" Laura answered before the captain could. "Both." On the human flagship, Captain Brooks watched the Union ship carefully. His crew looked to him, waiting for further orders. "They are holding position," his second officer said. "No weapons charging." "Good," Brooks replied. "We do not want to start a war, but we will not allow anyone to think Earth is weak." He turned toward the strategic display. "Maintain our formation. Keep shields active but low. No threatening moves." His crew followed his orders without hesitation. The Earth Defense Fleet ships moved into a perfect formation, wide and deliberate. It was not an attack stance. It was not a retreat stance. It was a show of strength. A message written in steel. Back on the Union ship, Captain took a long breath. "Send them our intentions again. Make it clear we came for peaceful confirmation only." Sent the message. The reply took longer this time. This was intentional. Finally, the human voice returned. "Your presence has been noted. Your peaceful intent is acknowledged. However, you must understand that Earth has kept its activity secret for a reason. We cannot allow outsiders to approach without strict control." Laura whispered, "Strict control? What happened to them? Why hide for so long?" Before anyone could answer, a new message arrived. This time it was not a simple request. It was an instruction. "Captain, prepare to receive a guided escort. You will follow our ships to a safe observation point. Any deviation will be taken as a threat." Looked up in shock. "They want to escort us." Captain nodded slowly. "It seems they want to watch us closely." Laura checked her readings again. "Sir, refusing could be dangerous. They have enough firepower to destroy us." The captain agreed. "We will comply, send confirmation." The Union ship adjusted its course as two Earth defense ships moved into escort positions. Their presence was overwhelming. They were enormous, heavily armored, and clearly built for war. Their engines burned bright but controlled, showing incredible precision. Watched them with awe. "These ships make our cruisers look like toys. How did they build all of this without anyone noticing?" Laura had a theory forming in her mind. Maybe they wanted the galaxy to think they were gone. Maybe they wanted to avoid being conquered or influenced. "The galaxy never cared about Earth," said. "Why hide from us?" Laura gave him a long look. "Because sometimes being ignored can also be a danger. If no one believes you are a threat, they might try to use you, or they might try to take what you have." Went quiet. As the ships moved closer to the observation point, the moon fell behind them. The Earth Defense Fleet kept formation, silent and powerful. On the flagship, Captain Brooks watched the Union vessel move exactly as instructed. "Do we trust them?" his officer asked. "Not fully," Brooks replied, "but they have not acted aggressively, and that is enough for now." He turned toward the communication officer. "Send message to Earth Command. Tell them the Union has made contact, and tell them we are following standard protocol." The officer nodded and transmitted the report. Earth Command received it immediately. Several leaders gathered in a command chamber deep beneath the planet's surface. They looked at the report with calm expressions. They had prepared for this moment for decades. "So it begins," one of the commanders said. "They finally discovered us," another officer replied. A senior leader, a woman named Corinne Holt, folded her hands on the table. "The galaxy believed we were gone. That belief protected us, but now everything will change." Another officer asked, "Do we bring out the full fleet, or do we keep the larger forces hidden?" Holt shook her head. "We show only what we must, nothing more. The galaxy must understand that we are strong, but they do not need to know exactly how strong." She studied the screen again. "Send a message to Captain Brooks. Tell him not to reveal any classified systems. Maintain caution. Maintain silence." The orders sent. Back in space, Captain Brooks received them and nodded. "As expected, we continue." Meanwhile, the Union crew reached the observation point. It was a location where they could see Earth clearly for the first time. The planet looked calm and beautiful. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents, a world full of life. Stared at it in disbelief. "Sir, there are power grids, large ones, huge cities, I can see them." Laura confirmed it. "Yes, Earth has been active the whole time. They just hid everything from space-level observation. Their disguise field must be massive." Captain tightened his posture. "They rebuilt an entire civilization in secret." The Earth Defense Fleet stopped at a distance, but kept their weapons pointed away. Then a new message arrived. "Captain, you are now allowed to observe Earth under restricted monitoring. You may ask questions. We will decide which answers you receive." Laura exchanged a look with. Whispered, "They sound like a nation that does not trust anyone." Laura nodded. "Or a nation that remembers something painful." Captain stepped forward, open channel. He spoke calmly. "Earth Defense Fleet, may we ask why Earth hid from the galaxy for so long?" There was a long silence. Then a voice finally replied. "Because the galaxy once tried to take us. Because they once saw us as a resource. Because we learned that survival sometimes requires silence." Laura's breath caught. This was not spoken with anger, it was spoken with truth. "But now," Captain asked, "why show yourselves now?" The reply came slowly, heavy with meaning. "Because you found us, and now the galaxy will know, so we choose to step forward on our own terms." Whispered, "This changes everything." Laura nodded. "For them, for us, for the entire galaxy." The Earth Defense Fleet ships moved again, forming a new line, one that faced outward toward the stars. Captain Brooks watched them and spoke softly. "The silence is over, the galaxy is waking, and they will learn who we really are." The news of Earth's hidden fleet spread through the Galactic Union faster than anyone expected. It was like a spark dropped into dry grass. Every system, every government, every intelligence agency began whispering about the same thing. Humanity had returned, and they were not weak. The Union Council demanded answers. Military leaders feared a new power rising. Traders and explorers wondered what this meant for the balance of the galaxy. But on the Union survey ship near Earth, Laura King, Cole, and Captain were facing the truth directly. They were the first witnesses. As they watched the Earth Defense Fleet hold formation, the weight of what this meant settled heavily over them. The humans had built something powerful in silence, and now the galaxy would have to face the consequences of overlooking them. Broke the quiet on the bridge. "Sir, several Union channels are requesting updates. They want detailed reports." Captain frowned. "We cannot provide anything yet, not until the humans allow us." Laura kept studying the planet below. The disguise field was gone now, revealing thriving cities and advanced networks of lights across the surface. "Everything we believed about Earth was wrong," she said softly. "They never vanished. They just decided they didn't want the galaxy to find them." Turned to her. "But why go to such extremes? Why hide whole cities, whole fleets?" Laura did not look away from Earth. "Because something made them feel unsafe. Something must have happened. Something big enough that the only solution was to disappear." Captain listened with concern. "If that is true, then we must know what happened. It will tell us what to expect from their leadership." Before he could say more, the Union ship received another message. The voice was human, calm, steady, and strong. "Captain, Earth Command requests a meeting. A representative will speak with you through secure channel. Prepare your communication chamber." Looked anxious. "Sir, they want direct contact." Captain squared his shoulders. "We have no choice. Prepare the chamber." The crew moved quickly. Within minutes, the captain, Laura, and stood in the communication room. A large screen flickered to life. For a moment, nothing appeared. Then a woman came into view. She sat in a quiet room with dark metal walls. Her presence was calm, but there was a sharpness in her eyes. She carried herself like someone who had led for a long time. "I am Karen Holt," she said, "Senior Commander of Earth Defense Authority. You are the first official contact with the Galactic Union in more than a century." Captain bowed his head slightly. "It is an honor, Commander Holt. We thank you for choosing to speak with us." Karen Holt studied him carefully. "Your vessel entered restricted space. Normally, this would not be tolerated, but your peaceful stance has been noted." She paused. "We will allow conversation, but you must understand that Earth has changed. Our people have suffered, and we do not offer trust easily." Laura stepped forward. "Commander Holt, we want to understand. Why did Earth hide for so long? Why remove yourselves from all records? Why let the galaxy believe you were gone?" Holt's expression hardened at the edges. "The answer is simple. The galaxy once saw us as a resource, not as equals, not as allies, as something to use." Looked confused. "But the Union has laws. The Union would never enslave or force a species into submission." Holt's eyes turned cold. "Those laws did not exist when we first met the galaxy." The room went silent. Laura watched her closely. "What happened, Commander?" Holt leaned back slightly. Her voice was steady but filled with memory, painful old memory. "Earth was contacted by outside forces before the Union even existed. A group of powerful species came, studied us, and decided we were too emotional, too unpredictable, too primitive to be left alone. They believed they had the right to guide our development. They interfered, they pushed us. They changed governments, they controlled trade, all while pretending to be peaceful observers." She paused. "They wanted to shape us." Whispered, "That sounds like domination." "It was," Holt replied. "And when segments of humanity resisted, they were removed, quietly, efficiently." Captain looked troubled. "I did not know this. There are no Union records of such actions." Holt nodded. "Of course not. When the early Union formed, those same species covered their tracks. Earth was labeled primitive, unstable, unimportant." She stared at them through the screen. "But we remembered. We built in secret. We chose silence over compliance. And we prepared." She leaned forward. "We hid because we knew that one day the galaxy would come looking again." Laura felt her stomach tighten. "So the fleet, the disguise field, all of it." Holt finished for her. "All of it was built so that humanity would never be vulnerable again." Captain bowed his head slightly out of respect. "Commander Holt, the current Union leadership had no knowledge of these events. I assure you, no part of the Union government would support such actions today. Holt looked at him with a calm expression. Perhaps, or perhaps you believe that because you were never told the truth. She let the words hang for a moment. But this is not about blame. It is about what comes next. Laura asked carefully, what does come next? Holt's answer was slow and measured. Humanity will no longer hide. The galaxy will know we survived. The galaxy will know we grew strong. And the galaxy will understand that Earth chooses its own path now. Swallowed, are you declaring independence from the Union? Holt gave a small, humorless smile. You cannot declare independence from something you were never part of. The words hit the room like a heavy weight. Captain nodded slowly. I see, you want recognition as a sovereign power. Holt nodded. Yes, and more, we want respect. We want acknowledgement that our people suffered. And we want assurance that no one, Union or otherwise, will ever try to control humanity again. Laura spoke with care. Commander Holt, the Union will fear you. A hidden fleet emerging from nowhere. This will cause panic. Holt's eyes hardened. Fear is not our goal, but strength is necessary. The galaxy respects only what it cannot ignore. Glanced at the others. Will Earth reveal everything, all your ships, all your forces? Holt shook her head firmly. No, what you have seen is only a fraction of what we built. We will not show the full extent of our power unless forced. Laura exchanged a look with Captain. The implications were huge. Finally, Holt continued, for now your ship will return to Union space with a message. A simple one. Humanity has returned, and we do not bow. Captain asked, will we be allowed to leave safely? Yes, Holt said. Earth does not start wars, but remember this, any attempt to send spies, hidden ships, or unauthorized scanning technology will be treated as hostile action. The screen flickered as Holt ended the message. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Finally exhaled loudly, Sir, the galaxy is not ready for this. Laura nodded. No, but it doesn't matter. Humanity is ready. That's what counts now. Captain straightened his posture. Prepare the ship. We leave orbit at once. As the Union vessel turned away, the Earth Defense Fleet watched silently. A dozen ships accompanied the survey vessel until it reached the outer edge of the system. Then they broke formation and returned to their hidden stations. On the flagship, Captain Brooks received the report from Holt. He felt the weight of the moment. He stood at the viewing window and looked at the stars beyond. It has begun, he whispered. Now the galaxy will learn what humanity became in the dark. Back on the Union ship, Laura stood by the observation window as Earth grew smaller behind them. She felt a strange mix of awe, fear, and respect. They were never gone, she said softly. They were preparing, and now the galaxy will have to face them. The Union survey ship moved through silent space, leaving Earth behind. Captain stood at the center of the bridge, thinking about everything he had seen. His crew worked quietly, still shocked by the discovery of Earth's hidden strength. Laura King and Cole exchanged looks filled with worry. Nothing in the galaxy would stay the same after this. Everyone knew it. Looked over his shoulder at their captain. Sir, we are now outside the Earth Defense Fleet's monitored zone. Their ships have returned to lunar orbit. We are clear. Captain nodded. Good, set course for Union headquarters. The Council must hear this from us directly. No messages, no transmissions. We carry this news ourselves. Laura agreed. If we send anything through normal channels, it will be intercepted. There are too many ears listening, and too many factions who might want this information first. She was right. The discovery of a secret human fleet was more than a surprise. It was a political earthquake. Many groups would try to twist the truth for their own gain. Some would fear Earth. Some would want to control them. Some would see them as a threat to remove. But none of these groups understood what humanity had become. As the Union ship moved deeper into space, Laura stood beside the wide viewing window. She watched the blue planet fade into the darkness. They were hiding for more than a century, she said. All that time they built fleets, cities, weapons, everything in secret. Why did no one notice? Now Calmer replied, because no one cared to look. Earth was labeled unimportant long ago, but they used that label like a shield. They let the galaxy ignore them, and they worked in silence. Laura nodded. Silence is powerful when used the right way. Captain listened to them as he walked past. We must be careful when we report this. The Council must hear our exact words. Anything unclear could lead to disaster. Laura sighed. They will ask whether Earth is dangerous. Shook his head. They are not dangerous, they are prepared. Those are not the same thing. Added softly, but the galaxy will not see it that way. Back on Earth, deep underground inside the Earth Defense Authority headquarters, Karen Holt received updates from the fleet. She read the reports carefully. Captain Brooks stood beside her, calm but alert. "The Union ship has left our space, ma'am," he said. "They kept formation and followed all instructions. No signs of hostile action." Holt nodded. "Good. They are curious, not aggressive. But curiosity grows into fear when mixed with power, and the galaxy fears what it cannot understand." Brooks crossed his arms. "Do you think they will tell the truth?" "Yes," Holt said, "but the Council will not know how to react. Some will fear us, some will want to control us, and some will want to ignore everything until the problem grows." She looked at the holographic map showing the outer systems. "The hardest part is not the first contact. The hardest part is what comes after." Brooks studied her carefully. "What will we do when the galaxy reacts?" "We will stand firm," Holt said. "We showed ourselves because we are ready, and we will not step back." Far away, on the Union survey ship, the officers traveled through the star network for several days. When they approached the Central Union system, signals began to pour in from every side. Frowned at his console. "Sir, we are receiving requests for updates from at least 40 Union branches. They know something happened." Raised a hand. "Ignore all requests. We report only to the Council." The ship approached a massive floating station, a hub of trade, diplomacy, and administration. It was one of the largest structures in the Union, a bright symbol of peace. As they docked, Laura felt tension rise inside her chest. "Sir, are you ready for this?" Gave a tired smile. "Whether ready or not, we must do it." They were escorted into the Council chamber, a large circular room filled with high-ranking representatives from dozens of species. The atmosphere was heavy. Everyone could sense something important had happened. A tall council member stood. "Captain, you may speak. Why have you returned without sending reports?" Stepped forward. "Honored Council, we have discovered something on Earth, something that changes everything we believed about humanity." The room became silent. Another council member rose. "Earth, that abandoned rock." Spoke clearly. "Earth is not abandoned, Earth is not silent, Earth has not disappeared. Earth has simply chosen to hide, and they have built something powerful." Screens around the room lit up as he showed the recordings. The Earth Defense Fleet appeared in perfect formation behind the moon. Massive engines glowed. Armor reflected starlight. The representatives gasped, whispered, or leaned forward in disbelief. One council elder whispered, "They built this in secret." Nodded, "Yes, and they have more, much more than what we saw." Another member said sharply, "Why did they hide? What drove them to cover their entire planet?" Laura stepped forward, her voice steady. "Because the galaxy once treated them like a resource, not as a people. They were manipulated, guided, and controlled by foreign forces. They hid to survive and grow, and now they are done hiding." The chamber erupted into loud voices. "This is impossible. They must be stopped. How many ships do they have? Are they declaring war?" Captain raised his hand. The Earth Defense Authority told us directly they do not seek war, they seek recognition and respect, nothing more, but if we threaten them they will defend themselves. And they can. The chamber quieted. The council discussed for hours. Some feared Earth. Some admired them. Some wanted to send diplomats. Others wanted to send warships. But one thing was clear, nothing would be the same. Back on Earth, in the headquarters, Karen Holt received a message from the Union Council. Brooks handed her the data pad. Message received, ma'am. The Council wants a diplomatic meeting. They request official talks about the future of relations. Holt read the message carefully. They want answers, they want to understand us, but they also want to measure us. Brooks asked, "Will you accept?" Holt nodded. "Yes, humanity will speak, but we will speak as equals, never as subjects." She sent her response. A few days later, a delegation of Union diplomats arrived near Earth. This time, they did not hide their intentions. They came with open communication channels and peaceful escorts. They were greeted by a formation of Earth defense ships, calm, organized, non-aggressive but impressive. The diplomats were brought to a massive conference platform orbiting the planet. Laura King and Captain were part of the delegation, chosen because they were the first to make contact. As they stepped into the meeting chamber, they saw Karen Holt and several Earth officers waiting. Holt stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth space. Let us begin our talks." Captain bowed slightly. "Thank you for receiving us. The Union seeks to build a peaceful future with humanity." Holt studied him. "Peace is possible, but only when respect is mutual. We will not be overlooked again." The diplomats discussed many topics: trade, information sharing, borders, and future cooperation. Some things were agreed upon quickly, others led to long arguments, but the tone stayed calm. Whispered to Laura during a short break, "They are strong, not just their ships, their will, their unity." Laura nodded. "They survived in silence, that shapes a people." After days of long talks, the first official agreement was reached. Earth was recognized as a sovereign power. Earth's borders were to be respected. No Union ships could enter Earth's system without permission. The galaxy watched as the agreement was announced. Some were shocked, some were afraid, some were curious. But everyone understood one thing clearly. Humanity was back. And they did not come quietly. On the flagship, Captain Brooks watched the announcement from orbit. He stood with a quiet pride. "We did it," his officer said. Brooks shook his head softly. "No, this is only the beginning." On Earth, Karen Holt watched the stars. "For too long we were silent," she whispered. "Now the galaxy finally hears us, and they will not forget this day." Far across the galaxy, governments and leaders prepared for a new era. Some feared what was coming, some hoped for alliance, and some plotted in secret. But one truth was clear and unchangeable. Earth had returned with strength, and the galaxy would never again make the mistake of thinking Earth was deserted. This was the beginning of a new balance of power, a balance shaped by humanity, a balance the galaxy would soon learn to respect.